All right, guys, we are live again. Today I'm doing an interview with Joel Bane from Snake Pit USA. So, as you guys saw from my other post, we just got shot down. Pretty much all the small businesses are getting shot down for those government loans if you don't have employees and big payrolls and shit like that. So, if you want to help support me, we got a couple ways to do it. One, I want to give a shout out to Sean over at Schismatic Gear. He sent me this high quality rash guard. The thing I like about this stuff is it has the strips on the bottom that stop you from showing your fat midsection and shit like that. So go check out Schismatic Gear or Schismatic Industries on their Facebook page, Instagram page, and their website. If you want to support me financially, go check out NokiNation.com. We got Baby Yoda rash guards, Fuck David Jeff rash guards, Wicked Warrior coffee, all that fun shit. So you can support me there. You can also support me by going to cbdumi.com/Starlord. They offer some of the best CBD products, and when Joel gets on, I'm sure he can attest to that as well. They're friends of his and myself. They also run Subversive Jiu-Jitsu grappling company. They partner up with Fight to Win, do these team events. It's really good CBD, great product, great guys who are supporting veterans and the grappling community. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and bring on my guest, Joel Bane. Joel, you can hear me, dude?
Yes, sir. How we doing, Josh?
Good, man. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, brother. It's good to
be here. Yeah, it's good to be talking to you again. I haven't seen you in a few months. How you doing with all this Corona stuff?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, to me, I'm sure most of the parents can understand when they say when the kids are stuck at home and you're not used to homeschooling, things definitely take a change. But other than that, to me, I was deployed a lot of times. So, and plus I spent 1,000 days and nights doing ICBM security in the missile fields, silos, where I lived there for 4 days at a time for over 1,000 days and nights. So to me, it really doesn't affect me at all. You know, I have a gym in my garage. Thank God I built it before this, and I got mats out there. I try to shoot some videos once in a while, but it's tough to get guys out. But I see my wife who's not quite used to it, but she's a bit of an introvert like me. I'm not, I'm an outgoing person when it's called upon, when I need to represent something or be there for somebody or to support somebody or something that I believe in. But for the most part, I like keeping to myself and just living a private life. So to me, it doesn't affect me a whole heck of a lot. But yeah, the kids 24/7, I love them to death, but I'm no homeschool teacher, brother.
Dude, it can't be easy for your kids having a former, what were you, a master sergeant in the Air Force? And
I was a master sergeant in a combat arms career field. I spent probably half my career with the Army, attached to a lot of units. So and those were always in Afghanistan and in Fort Dixon stateside. So I guess I always fit in better over there. So.
It can't be easy having you as their homeschool teacher between that and the catch wrestling, MMA, and jiu-jitsu. Like, oh my God, you got to be running. Yeah, exactly. Makes the perfect. It's like we're watching Vin Diesel's The Pacifier all over again.
Well played. Well played.
So, for people who don't know you, how about you give everybody a little bit of your background in the military as well as your MMA, catch wrestling, and jiu-jitsu background?
Oh gosh, where do we start? Do you
really
want me to go through all this? I guess.
Dude, I had Jake on yesterday. So Jake,
is how we end up doing a 3-hour one, like we were talking about.
It happens.
I'm pain in the butt to get on these things, but I love you, so that's why I'm here. And I mean that because I would never have done seminars with you if I didn't believe in you. So when you asked me to do it, I'm like, dude, of course I'll do that.
Yeah, you and Joel and Kenny, you guys are salt of the earth people, and like I try to do my best to always stay hooked up with you guys, and whenever you guys need something, I'm always there for you guys too. And I had Jake on yesterday, so we'll have to do sometime next week. Get you and Jake both on and just kind of tell some stories and shit like that.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out. So in my military career, I was a bit of a delinquent in high school. I grew up on a farm in Western Maryland and moved to the city, if that tells you anything. I had 2 older brothers that enjoyed beating the living crap out of me every single day since I can remember, to the point where I'd go to the hospital sometimes, and going from that to a city was a big change for me. I was in a lot of fights, a lot of trouble, a lot of me not going to school sometimes. I'd show up for strength training class and then football practice. And that's the only time you'd see me. I joined the Marine Corps delayed entry program when I was 17 years old for infantry. And guess what? I have two older brothers. My second oldest brother, who's 6 years older than me, had joined. That's what I wanted to do. But I ended up getting so much trouble in school, in high school, regrettably now. But everything happens for a reason, I believe. But they ended up dropping me from their program because I ended up dropping out of high school because they were threatening me with suspension, and they were saying they were going to not only to suspend me, but basically kick me out of the, what do you call it now? I couldn't come back to the school anymore. Because what was happening is I was getting in altercations and fighting my brothers all the time that were much bigger than me. Fighting high school kids wasn't much of a challenge when your brothers are 11 years old and 6 years older than you, and they're not weak. They're genetic mutants. So and nowadays you'll see, even in a self-defense situation, when you are able to defend yourself and they look at you and you're 250, 260 pounds, you're the bad guy. So you get arrested, you get in trouble. So that's how they were kind of pinning me. So I ended up saying, you know what? Forget you, I'm out of here. I dropped out. The Marine Corps kicked me out of their program. Huge pissing match. But there was an Air Force recruiter, and I was not interested at all at first. But she goes, I heard some of the screaming matches. I can get you into night school, get you your diploma, get you set away. And basically, with the censored version, I said, get out of my way. I'm out of here. And I went to work stonemason, my cousins, for a little while. They have a big, successful, huge construction company down in Virginia where they actually buy huge properties now and redo the land and everything, all that crap. But if you ever work with family, it can get a bit tiresome after a while. So I ended up going back to that recruiter and saying, if you can give me a job with a weapon where I can actually guard, protect, defend, do something like that, kind of what I wanted to do in the first place. I said, I didn't know the Air Force had that or not. And I said, if you can get me out here in 2 weeks, I'll do it. And sure as crap, that little lady, she did it. I had to go to MEPS, which is the military entry program place where you go take the test. But I already took all the tests for the Marines. So they just transferred everything over. I scored high enough for the Air Force and all that stuff. They took me into security forces, which was separate back then. Now you have the law enforcement side and you have the ground combat side. Well, I did the ground combat side, so I was fortunate to go to a lot of Army schools like air assault, combatives, jump school, things like that, sharpshooter, sniper, things like that. So, but my first spiel was in my first base. Do you really want all this?
Go for it, dude. We got time to kill. I'm just trying to let everybody. This is all about you, man. You're an amazing guy, and you need to know more about you. So we're just trying to make that happen.
It's funny because when Daniel DiMarzio, he writes a lot of books on martial arts, a lot of Japanese stuff, and he asked me if I would do that catch book. I said no. I said no chance. And then my wife was like, "Come on, let people get to know you, And I'm like, fine. So you already got more than he did. So
that's what I'm good at, man. I'm good at making you talk.
You're dragging it out of me. So anyways, I got stationed at FT Warren Air Force Base. So if you're not familiar with that, that's in Cheyenne, in the southeast corner of Wyoming. Okay, so the work was done. The intercontinental ballistic missiles, the big nukes that in the world, they're guarded by Air Force security forces. So you live out there in these buildings that look like little ranchers. They're fenced in. You don't go anywhere unless you're responding to alarms or doing checks. And you live out there for 4 or 5 days. You come home for 3 days. Most of that's spent training, weapons ranges, close combat quarters, stuff like that. Everything you can think of. I got some of the best training in the military there, even better than some of the Army training I got, believe it or not. They were very anal, very hardcore on PT back then. And I did that for 5.5 years. So it was 1,000 days and nights of sitting out there by myself, with a couple other friends. You become close, embrace the suck type mentality. But I finally got the hell out of there. And the worst thing about Wyoming for me was the wind. I hated the freaking wind. Lowest crime rate, best place to raise the kids, but the wind that will drive you completely insane. And I wanted to get out of there so bad, man. And I kept putting in for orders. I put Korea. I wanted to go to Japan. I was already grappling. I started grappling in '99 down near Fort Collins at Colorado State University. They had some grappling on the campus, and a friend of mine drug me down there.
Right?
Not yet. Not long after that, I suppose. But I got to New Jersey in 2003, and as soon as I got there, they sent me straight to the Army side. They're like, "You're coming from the missile field. You're going to be a little too anal and a little too militant for most of our law enforcement guys. So we're going to send you to go supervise some of the MPs because the Air Force had overall control of the joint base." I hope I'm not confusing you. If I'm confusing you at all, let me know. Because if you have a joint base, whichever the active duty side is, controls everything with the high general. So it was basically the Air Force had control. So me being the Air Force guy, I took over that area with the MPs. And basically a lot of the dirt bags that didn't want to deploy or whether they're airmen or soldiers, didn't want to deploy. They were claiming injuries or whatever to search vehicles, which sucked. But it was the largest commercial search point in the United States. So I supervised there for 3 years. During that time, I went to Iraq for my second deployment because I already gone to Saudi Arabia back in Wyoming. From there, went to Afghanistan in 2005. That was a long trip, but I got to do a lot of fun stuff there, kicking in doors, doing raids. We actually set the record in Afghanistan for weapons cache seizures, kicking in doors, doing raids for securing 84 tons of enemy weapons caches, which may still be a standing record. That was past the Green Berets. We smoked everybody. And, dude, we did it in armored Toyotas.
Holy shit.
We didn't have.
So you're in Afghanistan in armored Toyotas.
Armored freaking Toyota, because there's no funding. Nobody cares. Everybody says Air Force gets money. Bullcrap. Not since the Cold War, you morons. Not you. But the Air Force does not get that money like they used to. They did before from the Cold War. That's not the priority right now. Now it's all Space Force crap, right? Which, whatever. Anyways, so from there, I got pulled into a quick response force for the Air Force called a CRW, a Continuous Response Wing. And the mission there is basically wheels up in 8 to 12 hours and on your way to a country anywhere in the world for air base openings with the 82nd Airborne, the 18th Airborne Corps from the Army. And that was basically our specialty during that whole time. And during that time, you're going to specialized school. All you do is train. That's all you do is train. You live out in the field. You take your guys out there and train them. And that's what I did as an NCO during that time. And just deploy, brother. Been in New Jersey ever since, man. I tried to get the heck out of here. I did.
And you're back in New Jersey now, right?
Dude, yeah. Well, yeah, I stayed in New Jersey, but it was never on purpose. And I had somebody comment about this the other day on Facebook. And I've been trying so hard to be more responsive to everybody's comments and try to be more interactive and stuff. It is, because it can be exhausting.
It is. Oh, shit. I just lost Joel. You there? Hold on, Joel. I lost you for a second. Hey, can you hear me? I can't fucking hear you, dude. Hold on. I can't hear you at all. Do me a favor and drop back out and re-hit that link because I think something happened on your phone. So while Joel is fixing himself, we can go through some of this funny stuff I keep saying from Bill. Yeah, he is definitely the weapon of mass destruction in Iraq, and I definitely look like the little brother next to Joel. So when I went up to New Jersey at Razor's Edge MMA and did the catch wrestling camp and taught with them, it was me, Joel Bane, Jake Shannon, and Kenny Lester. And I swear to God, I'm the smallest out of all those guys, and Jake's a fucking straight bean. There you are. I hear you, but I don't see you. Yep, you're good.
Hold on. I'm trying to turn off all these notifications so nobody else can bother me. I'm sure you're getting used to it because you're getting crushed by a lot of stuff now because you're really getting out there, which is wonderful, and that's, I think I'm proud of you. It's wonderful,
dude. It's so fucking annoying though. Like I get what you're saying. Trying to be accessible to everybody is exhausting, and every once in a while you have to kind of pull it back and just take that time for yourself and just kind of shut everything off.
I'm glad you've learned that so quick, but I haven't, and I'm finally getting there, bro. So you're one step ahead of me right there. I'm catching up. Because I used to just ignore it all and let the customer service handle it. But because we know a few people that work for us, we got IT, we got people that do shipping and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of people, just close friends that help out.
Yeah,
but I can't deal with it. We have almost just I'm not trying to brag or be stupid, but to build catch back, and this is a little off topic, so please forgive me.
You're good, dude. I figured we were going to get into this anyways.
The old catch folks haven't done shit, okay? It's time out with the old, in with the new. And 99% of our fans are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners. You and I are BJJ black belts. We got into catch probably starting with Jiu-Jitsu and wanting to learn something else that was kind of cool to add that to our game, no?
Yeah, 100%.
Kind of, sort of, right?
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with catch along that path, and it became my favorite. I still love jiu-jitsu. I still teach jiu-jitsu. I still love judo, but catch is just my favorite. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if I don't push out huge, heavy marketing plans like Sears Roebuck style, we're not going to get those fans. So that's why I push those heavy, big pages so hard for marketing. I chase them. them, and I bring them to say, hey, what you're doing is cool, but just check this out. You might like it. That's all I'm saying, and that works. So we were up to between my page and some of the other pages, I think it's almost 500,000 fans with a lot of stuff. And it works. It's good because I see all this naysay stuff. Like, oh, catch is dead, catch is dead. It's white belts running their mouth that are full of the Kool-Aid. They have no idea what they're talking about. And they say there's no pure catch wrestlers. Well, there's no pure anybody. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm glad you're saying that.
There's no pure anybody. So when people say, oh, where's all the catch wrestlers in competition? Well, I'll tell you what they are. They're in ADCC. It's called No Pin Catch Wrestling. What the hell do you think Nicky Ryan, or what's his name? Or that, what's his name? Nick, no. Yeah, that
Nick
guy.
Rodriguez, yeah.
What the hell do you think he is? A blue belt tearing people up. He's a freaking catch wrestler. He's an amazing wrestler. And what's John Danaher? Leg locks, front headlock, and fighting and escaping the turtle are his DVD sets. So he's repackaged catch wrestling, and my hat's off for him because he's not a stupid man. And it's working. So nothing is dead. The sport, the 1902 pin, yeah, not many people give a crap.
Yeah.
But the style is exploding, and people are using it and not even realizing they're using it, and it's better than ever. It's more popular than ever. And those are the facts. I follow algorithms. I follow everything. So people, if you're listening, don't listen to the crap that catches dead. It's bigger and badder than ever. The technique is out there, and you're probably using it and don't even realize it. So anyways, back to your question, unless you got something to say real quick.
Well, real quick, I'm glad you're saying fans because it's crazy because when I came out there and did that seminar with you guys, Jake and Kenny and yourself out in New Jersey, Jake said something about how everything just kind of we pick up on each other's vibes and without even knowing it. And yesterday, Jake came on the podcast and he was saying about the guys in the catch wrestling groups, they're not catch practitioners. And fighters because they want to fucking fight. They go out there and they do it. But the guys in that group are fans. And you don't always listen to fans, okay? The opinion of fans is much less than the guys who are actually out there and doing it. So I'm glad you're making that distinction between grapplers, catch practitioners, and the fans, and I think that's really important to do.
Right. Fans are good, and I love them. I love our fans. I love them with all my heart, but I'm not going to a fan to ask them a technique.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're coming to us because there's a reason, and I'm grateful for that, and I'm humbled by that. So I don't really give a crap about their opinion on what they think is, catch is dead. They have no idea. Go read a book, kids. If I can't make you interested in history. I can't force that on you, but it's all out there. Don't be a blind idiot sheep. Go read a book. When I was getting heavy into jiu-jitsu, I got my purple belt in 2003. And where I was in Colorado, we were doing leg locks. Now, they weren't as pretty as they got cleaned up by Sean and Eric Paulson and Billy and those guys. But I was getting the hang of the basics, watching Pancrase, stuff like that, But when I came to New Jersey, everybody's like, oh, my gosh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Because now it's the business thing, right?
Yep.
It's the business thing. That's not safe. That's not safe. Well, all of a sudden, it's safe, isn't it? Because why? It's popular. Money, money, money.
Yep.
If it's popular, all of a sudden now it's okay. We've been doing it the whole time. It's been safe the whole time under the right supervision. What a load of crap. Which is probably why I haven't started my own gym, because I'll have 3 students left because I don't have a filter. I don't. But I'm preaching to you off of things that I've read that I believe from good sources. I'm not trying to I'm not trying to fill you with my opinion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who gives 2 shits about my opinion? I'm a fact-based guy. I read, I research. I'm a dork, and I try to. You got to give credit where credit is due. Josh, if you taught me a technique, and I go into a seminar, and I replicate that technique, ask anybody who's been to a seminar of mine, I will stop and say, "This is where I learned this."
Yeah, and I'm the same way, man, because that's how we keep. Everybody talks about lineage. I'm not a big fan of lineage and shit like that, but giving credit where it's due. Like I go every seminar, I'm like, hey, this is how I do it, but I learned it from this guy. Okay. Yeah. And you always got to give it back because without that, the history dies,
Yeah. And the modern, now don't hate me on this because I know you like Ashigarami, but I bust the balls on just not the leg locks. Right. I know you know your leg locks, so I ain't busting your balls there. But the term Ashigarami, I hate worse than Kimura because all it means is leg entanglement. Yeah. Everybody's taking they're translating a judo Japanese term using catch wrestling techniques and calling it Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I have no idea how that works. It's like laundering a technique, like you would launder money. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea where this came from. I'll just call it this. It's catch wrestling. That's all it is. It was outlawed in jiu-jitsu by the Gracies because they got their asses kicked by the Fadas, the other lineage, because they did leg locks. Now it's cool again. What are they really doing? A lot of catch wrestling. But you and I know catch is not just leg locks. Yeah. Catch is head to toe. It's all the transitions and scrambles with submission awareness that nobody wants to work on. They want the fancy submission, right?
100%. And I think, and that's something Jake was talking about yesterday as well, is everybody's getting into the finishing mechanics of catch wrestling and the finishing holds, but where they're really lacking is the transitions and the setups.
Yeah, transitions to me are everything. You're most vulnerable during transition. If you can't get from A to B, you ain't getting to see where the submission is. Any a-hole can do a submission. How did you get there? And if you're going against, I always tell my students this, even if it's a jiu-jitsu class, and I got white belts in the room, or a catch wrestling class where we're new guys, I always tell them, when you're working out, pretend the guy you're rolling with is the world champion, all right? You're not just going to grab something and twist something on the world champion. So what I try to teach, I don't do, I mean, I guess I do it, but I don't preach it, the position before submission, or the old catchphrase, which drives me nuts, submission from any position. It doesn't work that way sometimes. If somebody's truly controlling you, I guarantee you, if I get on you half north, south, half side control, you're not going to get me into submission from your position. So that kind of debunks that right there.
Yeah.
You know, if you put me in your best position and I don't practice countering that, it's your position. you know what I mean? So it kind of what I believe in what Snake Pit USA is based on is submission throughout transition, forcing entanglements and causing reactions. That's how you get good guys. It's not Marcus Almeida is not going to make a mistake in a 5-minute match. I'm sorry. He's not. So relying on a mistake is the mundane 1993 bullcrap mentality, thinking that you're always going to go against somebody untrained. But you have to assume that you're going against the world champion. I don't care if it's the mailman beating up your dog. He's the world champ. You got to take him serious, right? So that's all I'm saying about that. Anyways, I go back to your old thing here. So I got a little brain damage, and that's actually true. It's actually true. My head's completely screwed, so bear with me. So you asked me originally. I apologize for getting off base.
You're good, dude.
So when I was jumping from school to school for a little bit in New Jersey, and some places I liked, some places I didn't. I never into the big contract thing because I wanted to feel it out first. And now with the 30-day subscription, because it's kind of like, all right, well, that could be anything for 30 days, you know. And after that, that's when you really start getting to know anybody. Anyways, it's about a month. Yep. You know, you get a feel for your buddies, who's going to be your buddy, whatever the crap. You get your own little cliques and all that stuff. During that time, I fought a couple MMA fights during that time, and then I found Sean. And no, it's not true. Actually, I just lost my first amateur MMA fight. I was the main event down in Wildwood, New Jersey, against the guy tied with Jeff Monson for points. Remember, they used to have old rank.com?
Yep.
They would rank it. Well, this guy was tied with Jeff Monson. Nobody wanted him. So me, my arrogant self, I hadn't lost matches in forever in grappling. So I'm like, screw it, I'll do it. Still active duty, no time to train really for something like that. But I'm like, let's do it anyways. So I'm getting caught in a north-south choke by beating myself, turning my head out instead of turning in, and just mind fart, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But if that hadn't happened, we wouldn't be having this conversation today because Snake Pit USA wouldn't exist. I had no wrestling ability. This guy was an all-American wrestler, decent jiu-jitsu guy, controlled me on the ground. And I could bench press over 450. Did it matter? No. We know better than that now, right? So that drove me to learning how to wrestle. I found a wrestling coach. He was an all-American out of Cleveland years ago named Santos Cabana. He actually runs the Henzo Gracie School down in Lake Worth in Florida.
Okay. Yeah.
He runs the school down there. He runs a big guy. Shortly after, I met Sean. And we had to kind of feel each other out a little bit, you know, because we were very much alike, which was probably not a good thing at first, you know. And he came in. I remember seeing him in the sling, and you may have heard this story before because he's had more surgeries than anybody. Dude's been through pararescue training like 3 times, and he never quit. His body was ripped apart with serious injuries, but they kept inviting him back because he was the class leader every time. The dude has no quit in him. Obviously, already been in Ken Shamrock's Lions Den. He was original 12. And everybody says they were in Ken Shamrock. That doesn't mean you champ with the local Ken Shamrock's Lions Den. He was original 12 with Frank, you know, Treg Tilligman, all those guys, the old school guys, you know, and Jerry Bolander, the original guys that were there. They had to really go through the shit, you know, to be a part of that. So there's no quitting that guy. So he takes me down to this room that I was working out still and just trying to stay in shape to maybe do another fight sometime soon. And I'm still hesitant. Really hesitant with this, but he throws the guy who is not really trained, but he hits the guy with the, you know, Uchimata, same thing as a Hank in catch wrestling, but he hits him so hard with it, you know, they kind of go off to the side 45 on a good one.
Yep.
This guy goes up over, and I'm like,
Now, I don't think you said it, but Sean was injured at this time, right?
He had a sling on.
Sling. Yeah.
He just had shoulder surgery for like the 20th time. And he gets underhook, comes in, hits him with the hank, same thing as Uchimata and judo, but he hits him so powerfully with his hips that gives kids easy 260, a solid 260, 6'5". Doesn't go off to the side like you normally kind of drive him off, pull the wrist, whatever. He goes up over the head, almost like a beautiful, perfect over the top hip toss, or even a shoulder throw straight over the top. And I'm like, I know this takedown not well, but that's not normally how it works. So I'm like, even with his arm, I'm like, okay, let's give it a shot, And by then, that was about 2005. I know he joined the Air Force after 9/11. He had come in. I already been for a few years, but that's how we first met. Now, guys had told me about him because they knew I was fighting MMA and doing grappling for a while, and just coworkers. And they're like, you got to go down to the warehouse and check out this guy Doherty. And I'm like, At first, I was like, everybody's a damn ninja in martial art. Everybody's a guru, right? We've all heard that. But thankfully, I did. And we stuck together for a long time, man. And I was able to understand his concepts. He was the one that really got me believing in concepts, and I understood what he was trying to do. It wasn't just here's the technique. There was so much more behind that. It would give you ideas for possibilities instead of just here's this, go drill it. And yeah, you did that, but then okay, now what? And he would answer the now what. And I love that. And we would train 2 days for about 3 years straight. We would train the Army combative guys over on Fort Dix at about 5 o'clock in the evening, get off about 4:30 normally. 5 o'clock in the evening to about 7 o'clock, get down to the wrestling academy by 8. And we'd stay till like midnight, man, because we had the keys. And we had about 5 guys that were just sick. And we were just all mental. We'd puke our guts out several times, just keep going. But we were cremating everybody. Now, this is when I was in that quick reaction force for the Air Force same time. So if you're not training in the field, it becomes more of a 9-to-5 schedule supervising the young guys. Yeah. You understand? Because they're still doing career development stuff, courses and things like that. And you have to kind of sit there with them, mentor them and all that junk like that. Plus you're doing paperwork. Yes, there's paperwork, feedbacks, reports on them, evaluation reports, all that junk like that. Plus providing training material and building training material. So I know I'm kind of mixing the military career with Sean a little bit.
Oh, you're good, dude. Just do your thing, man. You're doing great. We got a lot of positive comments on this.
So Sean's one of a kind. He was now when I met Sean, you got to remember how he came up. He came up with Ken. And in that day, I haven't got a bad word to say about Ken, but I do know in that day that Ken was a bit with his guys. He was very hands-on and very much, I don't want to use the word bully, but if you got caught in a heel hook or a choke, it was getting snapped and you were getting choked out. Sean blew my knees out probably 6 or 7 times. And I had surgeries. Actually, I only had 1 surgery. My left knee is supposed to be replaced. Obviously, my right knee is supposed to be replaced. I'm a mess. You don't want to know. So I'm 100% disabled vet, and a lot of it is from deployments and doing things, carrying 100-pound rucksacks on my back and rappelling out of helicopters and doing stuff. But there is a portion of me that comes from wrestling for the Air Force, and a lot of grappling and a lot of lifting too much weights because I tried pro football workouts too. So a lot of it's like a perfect storm to basically destroy yourself, But anyway, Sean had that mentality of we would do drown proofing drills. We go in the pool in the back of the wrestling academy down in Pensacola, and it was like a pararescue type training thing where you would you'd have your partner hold your legs and go backwards and do sit-ups in the water, so all the water is washing into your nose to reduce that panic. It's like a water confidence drill.
You're basically waterboarding yourself and doing fucking sit-ups at the same time.
To the point where you just don't care anymore. And being knowing for a fact that when you get caught in a choke, you're an idiot and you're going night-night, you learn to not even get there. It builds that fear, and fear is the greatest motivator. And it's not a fear of necessarily going to sleep. It's a fear of looking like an idiot over and over again. You want to get better, and sometimes getting caught in something is the best way to learn it. I haven't been caught in north-south choke since I lost that fight back in 2006 or 2005.
I think we all have one of the, dude, I got caught in an omoplata and transitioned to a triangle one time as a blue belt, and I've never gotten caught in that since. It sticks with you. Yeah.
My jiu-jitsu professor, Carlos, he told me a story where he got clock choked really bad his first class. And the guy was just mean and almost twisted his head off, and he never forgot that. And finally, he learned the technique and twisted the guy so bad. And the guy was like a pretty good blue belt. He quit. just never came back, you know, because you remember those things,
Yeah,
you
dude.
know. So, anyways, anything else you want to know about the military stuff before I jump straight into the
No,
grappling crap?
go ahead with the grappling stuff, dude. I think that was a pretty good overview. Did half an hour on the military.
Pretty simple. So, pretty simple stuff. I mean, if you want.
Oh, actually, there was one thing I did want to ask you about your time wrestling for the Air Force. Can you go into that a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. So it's kind of a funny story. I can't remember what year would that be. 2012, November 2012. I had my knee surgery finally done. In January, because I wanted to do my surgeries back to back. Now in January, I did my shoulder. Now it wasn't just my shoulder though. I thought it was my labrum, but my collarbone was kind of sticking up from all the years of takedowns by then, you know, because I've been with Sean and Santos for years, just vicious takedowns every day, nonstop, because that's what I needed. So when I go, and there's actually a guy named Dr. Carey, who's very popular, his commercials on here all the time now from the University of Pennsylvania, great doctor. But when I wake up from the second surgery, this now, remember, November was the knee. This is January. We're doing the shoulder. I wake up and he goes, Joel, we had to move your bicep. Now I'm loaded, dude. I'm like, so where'd you move it? You know what I mean? I'm thinking, I'm like, I can't feel anything. I got a nerve block in my neck. I'm a mess. And he's like, well, we had to screw it back in because it was torn so badly. We just ripped it the rest of the way off and screwed it right down the bone there. You should be good. Should be good, right? The labrum, of course, was torn. We had to saw a big chunk out of your collarbone just so it would drop down back into place, which, you know, recovered, thank God. But a month later, literally my first day back, I got 4 weeks of recovery time with physical therapy and stuff like that. I had the ice. You ever seen the ice thing that goes on?
Oh, yeah.
Forces the ice. They had that on there, resting all the time, not lifting weights, and obviously not grappling. I've gone from like a solid 250 to a sloppy 220. You know what I mean? Just a sloppy 220. I'm not doing anything. So my Army buddies call me up and they're like, Joel, the Air Force wrestling team is here on base. They got a couple heavyweights, but you would kill them. And I'm like, I just had surgery, you goofballs. And they're like, no, you don't understand. I'm like, what did you just not hear? I just had 2 surgeries technically. Well, if you really want to add it up, it's like 5 and within 2 months when you put them all together.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, I already told the coach about you. And I'm like, now, if you know me, I showed up and I got my sling on, and now I wasn't 100% into it just yet, but I wanted to go check it out because to me, honestly, Josh, I didn't know. The only Air Force wrestling team I knew was the one out at the academy doing folk style. You know what I mean? High school, college wrestling. So I went and checked it out, and obviously, it's not the same. It's the all Air Force team where it's international. It's Greco and freestyle competing for legitimate shots on the world team, legitimate shots at the Olympic trials, things. It's a big deal. And I'm thinking, all right, this is a big jump. I didn't wrestle in high school. I started wrestling hard, doing 2-a-days for years. So anybody who says if they didn't wrestle in high school can't learn how to wrestle, it's the same thing as learning jiu-jitsu at 30 or 40.
Never wrestled in high school.
Yep. You don't need to. Anybody can learn anything at any age. It's silly. And I get that question literally almost every single day. I never wrestled in high school. I'm not sure if catch wrestling is for me. Well, then how is jiu-jitsu? Because it's a learning process, moving your body, simple body mechanics. There's no difference as far as the way of learning, right? Or the path. So the coach thought I was insane. He goes, I'm not sure if this is a good idea. His name was Rich Estrella. He's the only coach. I'm not going to say a whole lot about him because we definitely got into it a lot after, especially our third year together. But it was because I was the highest ranking guy on the team, on the old man on the team, the master sergeant. I'm 35 or 34 at the time. The kids on the team are 22, 23 years old. They're coming from, one of our guys was coming from the University of Oklahoma, All-American. We got guys from all these colleges that joined the military, All-American wrestlers coming in there, and some of them don't make the team because they cannot make the transition to international wrestling. It's a different transition. It is for a lot of guys. Some guys do awesome, and some guys just quit. They just don't get it. They don't quit on I can't do it. It's just like, hey, I'm just not getting it. It's not for me. I'm going to go back to work, whatever. So I stuck with it. Ended up actually beating the other guys with one arm, and I may have been cheating a little bit because what I did, I took off the sling and I duct taped. It was this arm. I duct taped it to my ribs, which means they couldn't get an underhook on that side.
Yep.
But I was getting my underhooks and still getting the takedowns and stuff and freestyle, no problem, because I could go for my inside trips and stuff like that, which I love anyways, and move on. I ended up getting the spot, but the coach was still like, I can't let you wrestle in the armed forces because if something happens to you, we're screwed. I said, what about the U.S. Open? Let me wrestle the national championship. He goes, fights me again. He says, fine. He goes, you are a heavyweight. He goes, if you want to do it, go for it. Worst idea ever. You got to remember the caliber you're going against here, you know. And in my division at the time, for the whole time I wrestled for, and this is not an excuse, you know. But the guys I had, you may not have heard these guys, but when you go to the Armed Forces Championship first, and it's the same guys that you faced at the U.S. Open, which is the national championship for Greco and freestyle. The number one division guy for Greco was Dave Arndt. That's the Marine heavyweight. This is in the United States, number one in the United States. The number two guy in Greco was Eric Nye, the Army guy, heavyweight. Now you flip-flop them, and it's the same thing for freestyle. So those are my guys, and the Navy didn't even have a heavyweight. So you do what you can with these guys. 15 years younger than me. Here I am, busted to crap. I remember going there with 3 herniated discs, bronchitis, breathing on inhaler, and looking at Floyd, who was the team manager, Floyd Winter.
Yep.
He wasn't coaching. He got Rich the job, but he wasn't coaching it. He had spent years with the Army, obviously, but he's like, you're insane. And I said, I don't know. I said, I know. I said, it's not a matter. I said, to me, whatever happens, happens. To me, it's about going out there and saying, here I am. That's the most important thing to me. That's always been the most important thing to me. I'm not going to back down from a challenge. I'm not supposed to even be coaching, and I'll still roll. I'll still play. Hopefully, the V8 isn't watching this, but I'm not supposed to be. But what else do I do, brother?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
stop moving, you fucking die.
Exactly. And, if I don't lift, if I don't do some, I don't lift as heavy as I used to. I kind of get to it sometimes, but then I back off because I'm in so much pain.
Yeah.
But if I'm not lifting exercise, doing flow drills or grappling, I'm in way more pain, man.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Way more pain. So I wrestled for, was it 2 years under Rich? Like I said, he was the only coach in the history of the United States to win a Greco World Championship. So he was a great technician, but as far as social skills, not so much. And I can take a lot of crap. I mean, I've been through some hardcore, rigorous schools with the Army and stuff like that, where you just don't care. It's a game and you play along with it, and you're not going to stop. But he would get to the point where he'd say threatening type stuff. So we had some incidents where I kind of threw him across the room and things got ugly. And we ended up basically getting him booted off the team for being a scumbag. I will say that. Rich, you're a fucking scumbag. There. And yes, I'm the reason you got fired. So there you go. For flirting with airmen's freaking moms in restaurants and being inappropriate and being a scumbag. There you go. And those are facts.
It's like a fucking transition back to regular martial arts. It's like every fucking martial arts coach I know is flirting with the moms, fucking them, and banging people.
It's disgusting, man.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, man. It takes all the honor out of it.
Yep.
So anyways, me and one of the other guys who was a captain, he was one of the team captains. We were like, and we had All-Americans, and they weren't coming back if he was staying. So I wrote down to Air Force Sports, and I said, listen, I'm the team captain. Here's the other team captain. If this guy isn't gone, nobody's coming back. You don't have a team. And the Air Force doesn't get funding. It's like the Navy. The Air Force and the Navy don't get the same funding that the Marines and the Army do for their sports programs. Those guys do nothing but wrestle year-round. I still do security forces. The other guys still do whatever job their specialty is in the Navy or the Air Force. And then they come in for like a 4-month camp, train for 4 months, and go face these guys, and then move on to the national championship. And we get some great guys, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And we've shocked many of them. We beat the Marines in the Armed Forces Championship. They train year long. We'll still go in there and beat them once in a while. And everybody's like, you know what I mean? But not until Floyd came along. And the guy, his name's Steve Brown down at Air Force Athletics. He's like Master Arm Bane. He goes, who are we going to replace him? I was like, Steve, Floyd is on base right now. The training is on this base. He's been doing private lessons with me for 4 years in Greco and freestyle. Why not him? He's the one that got Rich the job. He's got a bio that's one of the greatest wrestlers that's ever lived. It's ridiculous, but he doesn't promote himself because he's so humble. He's the most humble guy on earth. He will not. He gets mad when I talk about him. He does. The first American to win Greco gold in the history of the country. He's a former Sambo champion, a former Greco-Roman champion. He's been on the World Cup team, the world team.
Dude, he's a badass.
Everything. It's ridiculous. He's 2 national championships as a coach, produced 7 Olympians. It goes on and on. He trained Randy Couture from nothing when Randy was horrible, all the way up, and Randy used to fly him out to all his fights in the UFC. And it goes on and on and on. But he's the nicest person. He's kind of been a father figure for me, so I've been very blessed that I didn't have that growing up. We talk all the time, and he's doing pretty good, but he's gotten to the point where kind of like Billy, where he can't really
Can't
get
move.
on the mats. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's tough, man. It was kind of heartbreaking when I heard that.
Oh yeah, dude, I totally get it. And like you and I have that same background. I didn't have a dad growing up, so all my coaches were kind of filling those roles too. And it's really interesting because now we're in that other side of it, coaching people, and you kind of see the same thing repeating itself over and over. It's just it happens.
Absolutely, you're 100% right. So I stuck with Floyd the third year, and I shouldn't have come back. My body was so jacked up, but it was my chance to actually go out for Floyd. And he asked me, he goes, Joel, would you come out? He goes, I'd love to have you back another year. I said, you realize what's going to happen? I'm going to come to every practice. I'm going to be destroyed. I'll crush everybody for the first few weeks. You know what I mean? It didn't matter. We get kids. I'm not trying to brag. I mean, you can ask someone if you can track them out. Eric Lepoxy, he's a great friend of mine. He was the Sooners from University of Oklahoma, All-American team captain for the Oklahoma Sooners. Came out to our team. More of a competition day guy. Some people are like that.
Yep. Yeah, some guys are practice room heroes. Some guys rise to the occasion on the competition mats.
So no offense to Eric, but he took his beatings from me because he was my workout partner at 97 kilo. I was the heavyweight. He was about 230. I was about 260, 265. But I was using a lot of different things that I learned from like Billy Robinson and Floyd that he'd never seen before. So he's getting beaten, getting a little depressed. And we became friends. But after a while, my old butt starts hurting, and I can't move like I can. He starts getting the takedowns. You know what I mean? So I would start expiring about 2 months into camp where I'm popping, gosh, I don't even want to say it, probably 20 to 30 Percocet a day and doing pre-workouts.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I'm not sure if you're familiar with verticalopathy or radiculopathy. You're familiar with that? It's a herniation where the nerve is pinched at the same time. There's not much you can do for it. So even if you
just said that instead of making me sound like a dumbass.
The word sounds cool, man.
It does.
I'm still trying to pronounce it myself.
I'm like, oh man, I've had those. I don't know what it's called, but
the only reason I can say it is because my wife, because she dealt with that stuff as a paralegal. She's like, say it again, say it with me, sound out the syllables.
Your Russian wife is teaching you these fancy ass words.
Right.
She's like, sound it out, Joel. Come on, Hulk.
She hates the Russian thing. She's actually Polish, but
sorry.
Don't let her hear you say that. So, anyways, but she was like, Anyway, so we wrestled, and I didn't know you with Floyd, and but if you know me, I'm a technique geek. I'm a driller. I think drilling is king, and I will drill it till I absolutely hate it, because I think it's how you got to learn it, man. Because once you drill something to the point where you hate it, you can do it without thinking about it, and then you go back to it, and you're like, you know what? This is my favorite move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you've drilled it so many times, it's a part of you. Even if you hated drilling, you got so sick of it drilling it. And this is the way it really should be. None of these young kids want to drill like that anymore.
Nope.
They want that high flashy crap instead of drilling that outside single 5 billion times.
Yeah.
And anyways, went and wrestled with Floyd that time. Then he asked me to come back as an assistant coach. And by then I was 36 at that time. And I came back and helped him out best I could. I would teach a lot of the classes, and basically I was more the enforcer in the room at that point, being a master sergeant, because you get a lot of young airmen in there who think it's a vacation to come wrestle, and it's not. It's basically, and like I said, I've been through some hard Army courses, and those camps, those workouts between Rich and Floyd were the hardest things I've been through. They were designed to break you worse than any air assault schools or any tough Army schools like that. It was just because we had enough bodies. You know what I mean? And it was just, there was trash cans around the room. Everybody's puking all day long. And we would do 4 workouts a day. With Rich, it was 5. We'd get up at 6 o'clock, hit the weight room. Better be ready by 8 for 2-hour wrestling. Noon, you're back at it. You get a lunch real quick. You're back at it at noon. You get a light workout at 3, which is just basically drilling. Mm-hmm. And then you're back at 5 live, practicing and doing matches after matches. You'll do easily 50 matches a day, every single day with the guys. So on top of conditioning. You know how it is at the end of wrestling practice. Now it's time for conditioning after you wrestled for 2 hours, right? So it was tough, but I'm glad I did it. And so that was my job to come in as the assistant coach and do that, because I became such a technique geek and I would listen to Floyd. Even now when I teach, you know how you sound like your coaches sometimes when you teach?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you at this point, your students do it too. Yeah. They'll say the things you say, and I've had mine say, they say, I sound like you. I was like, don't worry. I sounded like my coaches too.
Yep.
So, that was my last year. So that was between 2013 and 2017. I was a part of the Air Force wrestling team, and I'm glad I did. I learned a lot. Amateur wrestling is not my favorite, but I do love it. I love tying it in. I love tying in the Greco a little more than the freestyle because all the freestyle was already in catch anyways,
Yeah.
except for the bellying out stuff. Obviously, that's completely useless in grappling.
Totally.
The parterre position is out, but as far as all the other stuff, it's absolutely useful, especially the way he taught it. So I was blessed to have that. Yeah, that was the way it was on the Air Force wrestling team, man. So
That's crazy, man. It's crazy. You got, I mean, I can only imagine going on for like 3-4 hour podcasts with just stories from your military days. But so from there, you kind of transitioned and you started Snake Pit USA. And was Sean with you when you started that? Because I know he's one of the head coaches now. But
no, when Sean was here originally, and his wife was out in Ohio, and he just. I know he missed his wife and stuff like that, and he needed something to do. And I after him showing me what he was doing, I knew this was the guy I needed. Yeah. Because he wasn't trying to sell me something. He saw me as somebody who wasn't ever going to quit. He put me through the lines, didn't work out. He torched the legitimate, pure hell workout. I mean, it was rough, and I got through it. And so he decided to keep me. So and he stuck with me. But because he did that for me, I ended up getting him a job down at that wrestling academy as the head grappling coach. And it was a big academy. You got guys from Penn State that come out there and work out all the time. It's gone out of business in the last 2 years because of stupid stuff, whatever. Yeah. The owner was kind of a weird guy, but the wrestling room was phenomenal. It was basically an old weight room with even the dumbbells had no numbers on them. You didn't know what you were grabbing unless you've been working out for a while, right? Yeah. So, but in the back was this wrestling room that was just, it was like heaven for any grappler on earth. I mean, it was huge, and nobody's really in there except for the kids during their sessions, or when the college kids come out and stuff like that. But we would go back there and train. Sean got the job there for years. What was your exact question? This is what my brain does, Josh.
Well, it's not really a question. Just transitioning to the foundation of Snake Pit USA.
Got it. So I was with Sean during that point for a long time, and eventually there was a time where his time frame was up in the military, and he went back to Ohio to be with his family. From there, I was training. Where was I going? I was still working out with the Army guys. I was training light at a couple jiu-jitsu schools just to stay on the mats. I had a lot of friends by then that we would get together and train with, at gyms, not just in a garage or backyard wrestling, but legitimate still training and studying and working on the things that we had learned and perfecting them and keep going on. And I came across, I had just had my, during one of the Army combative courses, I had torn my adductor muscle completely off the pubic bone, which is, I don't know if you're familiar, the two rings down here.
Yeah.
I tore it completely off, and it was like the second day. So here I am, one beer and a couple Percocet. I don't miss practices. So I go in there, finish the whole course, and I was still injured. So I saw a thing that was close to here because I wanted to get my daughter Victoria into judo, because I really like starting the kids in judo first because they're fighting live right off the bat.
Yep.
And it still has that old school discipline to it that I'd like to see wrestling. Wrestling definitely has it, but it's more of a screaming discipline.
Yeah. Judo's a little bit more of a old school Japanese kind of like Mr. Miyagi style, and there's a lot of applicable techniques and things you learning how to fall and Yeah.
So she went in there, and that was at John Potenza's school, and that was in Englishtown, New Jersey. I didn't meet John at first. I thought maybe I did. I don't remember, but there was a big CSW flag in the back. Now I'd been following Eric Paulson for a while, and started going through his DVDs, and I've been to a ton of his seminars and stuff like that by then. And I was still traveling, doing seminars this whole time, not teaching them, but wherever somebody worth going to, I would go. And I'm a notepad dork. I would write down every single word. I literally have probably 50 pages of Billy Robinson's words just written down. That's where a lot of this Snake Pit material comes from, is looking back at those notes, drilling, perfecting, and then going to go shoot, because it's all perishable knowledge, so I'm not constantly drilling it.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure the highest quality gets out there for everybody. But John and I, John's an outgoing guy. He'll get along with anybody in the world. He just has that personality. You know what I mean? He's Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, and I'm a little bit more. Nobody wants to approach me. So my daughter gets into the judo class. I still can't move my left leg. And she's doing judo. I really like the judo instructor. His name was Sal. He was from Italy. He was a black belt in Italy, but somehow with the International Judo Federation, he was a brown belt in the United States. Some bull crap. I don't know.
So
freaking judo. You know how weird judo is with that stuff.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah. But he was a great kids instructor. He was very disciplined and very structured, and he ran a very disciplined, well-structured classes, which is what I wanted. but I would take her, but it was very sport. Ippon, right?
Yep.
So I would take her home and teach her the judo that I learned from Sean, which was a ton of newaza, ground fighting, which basically was BJJ, the same as where, it's where it gets it from. So we were still doing all the triangle hooks, all the half guard, everything that you think of jiu-jitsu admitted, right? And doing all that stuff, even when I was kind of taking a break from the jiu-jitsu schools and doing that. Now, eventually my leg healed up and I would kind of start jumping into classes and just to practice and have fun with the students and help them out a little bit and stuff. And John and I started getting along and becoming friends. And he had been to one or two of the Billy Robinson camps, and I had always wanted to do that. So I went with him. I can't remember the first one. I think it was San Diego, and then we did Utah, a couple in Jersey, and then we brought him out in Jersey for the first Snake Pit one. Now, let me set the story right here on this, because technically I didn't invent Snake Pit USA, so he sure as hell didn't. There was a female named Stephanie Sirocco who's on our website as our fitness person. If you go to the Board of Directors Coaches Association, she was actually my conditioning coach for competitions to get my weight to a certain weight, get my conditioning to a certain way with high intensity interval training, something that would mimic grappling when I wasn't able to grapple every single day. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So she came to me and she had online business. She was bringing like 30 grand a month with her fitness, getting girls in shape after having babies and all this stuff. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. And at first you ask yourself this question, and I don't know if you had to do it at first, but I did. She goes, the normal thing to do when you start, she was pushing me to start a website. Mm-hmm. And she goes, you're going to doubt yourself at first because you're going to say, why me?
Yep.
How am I good enough? Even if you believe yourself on the mat when you compete and you're telling yourself you're the best, which you should be, right? Otherwise, what the hell are you doing out there? It's different. It's a different world. It's unfamiliar terrain. Yeah. So to go out there, and you don't want to be perceived as somebody who thinks he knows everything, because I don't have it all figured out. Nobody does. Otherwise, we would have stopped doing it, right? If we knew it all, I'd go build model cars now. There'd be no more challenge. Yeah. But she was like, just give it a shot. And it took her months to talk me into this, because I was like, no, you got to sell me. So she eventually talks me into it. And I was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'm still active duty military. My schedule's limited, right? So I got to call up. I was like, I can't do this alone right now. There's no freaking way. I didn't even have a name for it. But John Potenza and I go out to Utah. I said, hey, what do you think about working with me and doing an organization where we start actually putting videos out and stuff like that? You've been through some different lineages somewhat, but he has some good credentials, and I thought maybe it was something we could do together as a team. He had that personality. It was so outgoing, and friendly. He could sell you on his smile when you walked in the gym. You know what I mean? That's not really my gig. If you know me, I'm a friendly person, yeah. But I can be a recluse sometimes. My job, I've always thought, is to raise other people up as a master sergeant. It's not me first. I have to raise. If I see you doing something good, Josh, it's my job to raise you up and raise people up around me. I can sit in the background and smile and enjoy that and feel good about myself doing that way more than I can saying, ooh, somebody liked my video. I don't give a crap. I don't care if people like me personally. I'm not out to win an award of popularity. My job is to showcase catch wrestling and to lift people up around me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
That's the way I treated my military career. So John and I started. We did that. Snake Pit USA got rolling. We waited on the affiliation program. I didn't want to jump right into the affiliation program because there was no curriculum. Yeah. What do you say? You know what I mean? Oh, here's the banner. Put it on your wall. Now you're a catch wrestler. Give me a break, right? Which unfortunately some of our gyms have tried to do, and they got booted pretty quick because we're not playing that crap. If you're not willing to get on the match and roll, you're not going to be one of our coaches. You're not. We don't do that crap because that's what all those a-holes have been doing for 20 years, saying they're catch wrestlers. Because most of them, what happened was these guys in these catch groups, they went to a jiu-jitsu school, got their asses handed to them, went and read a catch wrestling book, and now they're badass catch wrestlers, right? Talking shit about everything else.
Yep.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, that's 100% true, dude. And this is live in the catch wrestling group, so I hope they see this and kind of, realize.
Just go back on the fact that I don't care if you like me. I'm not here to win your support. But I'm speaking facts. You've done nothing for catch. So either get on the bandwagon or get the fuck out of the way. That's all there is to it because you've done nothing. We spent, I don't know how much money on doing this, man. I probably spent close to $1 million on building Snake Pit USA. You think I've got something back? No, it's a passion.
It's a labor of love.
It's a passion that you do. And people think I'm making money on this stuff. I have an income from my disability and stuff. I'm trying to do this out of passion and give my knowledge back from my coaches. Not that I think I'm special. I don't. I think my coaches were special.
Yes.
And I'm trying to carry on what they were doing. And going to the past and trying to motivate people that sat on their ass is not going to help the future of catch. You have to show the beauty to the rest of the world and bring them on board. And honestly, and people may hate me for saying this, jiu-jitsu is the perfect conduit for catch wrestling. You bring people in, teach them jiu-jitsu, start sneaking in those catch wrestling techniques, say, hey, that's catch, this is catch. And then they're like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. That's it. You put up a big sign that says catch wrestling outside your school, good luck getting students. Nobody knows what it is. People don't know what it is. If you do know what it is, you're very fortunate and you're blessed. Yeah. We're blessed to know what it is. Yeah. But we make a mistake in assuming that everybody knows what it is, and they don't. So it's our job to educate, right? So Snake Pit USA went on for a while. We did good. We've had over 60 some gyms overall, and some have come and gone, good and bad reasons, stupid stuff, good stuff, whatever. John went his separate way. He wanted to do more of an MMA type program. I wanted to keep it pure catch, and I couldn't back off of that. I couldn't. So, but bless him and all he does. He has his old school grappling thing going. He's doing great with it. I've supported him. I run Snake Pit USA owns Catch Wrestling Magazine. It owns the ICWF, which we support everybody. We supported you. I got your back with that. It runs the USA Catch Wrestling, which Jake Shannon was nominated as the president of. But if we don't take these things and do something with them, nobody's going to do anything. Nobody has. They're sitting on their butt, chatting on freaking websites, eating ho-hos. I don't have time for that crap. Okay. And I'm sorry if I sound like a jerk, but I'm sorry. I don't have a filter. Okay. It's just the way it is, bro. I'm going to call it like it is. And I don't give it because I can back it up. Sorry. Yeah. Anyways.
It's crazy, man. No, you're good, dude. And that's a good background of like where you came into building the association. And now I've noticed recently you've gotten off the heaviness of needing the pin in competition and stuff like that. And just from your background that we've been talking about for the past hour, you have a good armed forces wrestling background. You're a black belt in jiu-jitsu. You come from a judo background as well. You really are a hybrid grappler. And that's kind of where I know personally, I want to see where the sport goes is Pancrase guy said it from the beginning. We are hybrid grapplers. And you said it in the beginning of the podcast, there's no purist in anything else. There's no pure jiu-jitsu. There's no pure catch. There's no pure judo. And if there is, it's not effective when you have somebody – look at MMA. We saw it in the first UFC. Everyone was a purist, and now everyone's fucking well-rounded and a great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu guy, and a great striker. You can't be just the one style anymore. It needs to all blend together.
I agree. Now, having said that, when I teach, I do teach catch, pure catch. But when I roll, I use a half guard. Yeah. You know what I mean? I use different things. You're going to be your own fighter no matter what. And I think it's what you're trying to say, right? So when I teach catch, I don't blend in jiu-jitsu techniques. I do pure catch. And when I teach jiu-jitsu, I do blend in catch because it works. That's one thing I will say. Let me say this. Let me get some more haters while I'm at it. Because if you don't have haters, you're failing. So I learned that a long time ago. Catch, this is why I love catch. And again, I love jiu-jitsu, but if you're not doing everything you can in jiu-jitsu as far as takedowns, bringing in from judo, and doing all these other submissions that you call illegal by the IBJJF standards, you're holding yourself back. Okay, I do leg locks in a gi. I have no clue why your uniform would stop you from doing a submission unless you're in an IBJJF tournament. That is the dumbest mentality. Yep. I've been in gyms with guys that are my guys, and I put them in a heel hook, but I don't try to break. I hold it and make them fight out and keep rolling. He's like, what are you doing? You're in a gi. And then I remind them that I'm the coach and they need to go mind their own business. And I'm like, what does my uniform have to do with the style of my grappling? Are we in the middle of an IBJJF 100%. Tournament? We're not in the middle of an IBJJF tournament. You are training for more than just a sport. Are you going to get attacked by a mugger? Somebody grabs your wife and say, oh, can't do that move. I've got my pants on. It's stupid. It's stupid. You're either fighting or you're not. All or nothing is my mentality. I'm not going to hold back. And like you said earlier, catch wrestling is a lot more than leg locks and neck cranks. It's every submission that exists, every single submission. And that's why I fell in love with it, because catch, this is what I was trying to say is, as much as I love jiu-jitsu, and I am a black belt in judo as well, and it helped my judo.
You there, Joel?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me? Did you lose me again?
Ah, shit. We lost Joel again.
Even
unfortunately, this is the first time this has happened in, my You there, Joel?
Yeah.
We're back. Perfect. We got shut down by the haters.
It's okay. Keep them coming, baby. It
Yeah.
costs
All right.
0.20 cents to replace them on Facebook.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
And the haters, guess what? They've been the problem the whole time, so they need to go. It's time for the new blood.
It's true. So we've established that you think there needs to be the new blood coming into catch and stuff like that. You've also established that you're cool with a no pin rule set in the events. Now, going back to the history of catch, it was always the rules were very negotiable, during these bet matches and stuff like that. And I'm running promotions and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer of that as well. If you want to come in and do a bet match, or if you want to come in and I'm putting up a prize and we have two willing grapplers, the rules can be negotiated. It doesn't always have to be a points format. It doesn't always have to be best 2 of 3 falls. It doesn't always have to be no holds barred, all that fun shit. Going forward, what are your goals in growing the sport? Is it a competition? I know you guys did the King of Catch for a while.
It's been a lot.
Yeah. So
I think people forget what we started with. Our first big tournament was at the 2013 World MMA Expo. We put on the first catch wrestling tournament in New York City in over 93 years. That was back with John. We did that together. The next year we returned with the World Championship at New York, the World MMA Expo. We've tried to use these big platforms. We went to the Mr. Olympia. We had to deal with the Arnold Classic, which we didn't do because we got screwed at the Mr. Olympia. We've had these platforms, and we've been putting on big shows for years. Now, I came out of pocket for that one we did in 2018 and lost a few grand. I knew I was going to lose a little bit, but I paid for that by myself to try to put a show together. And Jake helped me out a lot by bringing in Brandon Ruiz, Kenny Lester. Yep. I didn't, I'd been around Brandon before. We've been acquaintances and actually competed against each other before, but I didn't know Kenny. I didn't know Kenny at all. So it was great. Now we know Kenny. Kenny's crazy and we love him. But that was something I think needed to happen. Now, Chris Carlson gave me the idea for that. He's like, let's do a show. And next thing you know, Chris wants to compete in it. I was like, all right, Chris, go compete in it. And then Josh Barnett was in it. Josh gets hurt. Chris is out, and we're kind of moving stuff around. Eric Paulson talks me into putting Coran Jacobs in there. And, Eric being one of my old coaches, he's like, Joel, you got to put Jacobs in there. I'm like, no, this kid has no respect for anybody. He's trash talking Snake Pit USA. We never even acknowledged him or mentioned his name once. Why is he attacking my organization? I'm not bringing this turd in here. And it's so funny because ask anybody who was there, the carpet was rolled out for every single competitor the same. He got a paycheck from me with my name on it from my checking account, and then goes and makes a video how everybody hates him and it was so hard for him to be there. And then he makes the claim of uniting catch wrestling. I'm sorry, did you pay for that tournament? You didn't unite anything, asshole. You came to my show that you were promoted on and won a belt. You united nothing. You got your belt, took it home, refused to defend it like a selfish turd, and have done nothing for the sport. So people like that, like I said, it's time to move on. And you wasted.
True.
Wait, I mean, but we have some good matches. You live and you learn. We should have changed the rules up a little bit. If you change one simple rule here, maybe put a shirt on the son of a bitch, you already lost his first fight. You know what I mean? He's slimy as crap getting out of pins because he's so sweaty. And another thing was we had the point system where you get thrown above your feet overhead like Greco style and lose the point the way Billy Robinson and Carl Gotch used to talk, he still would have never got past his first match with Johnny Buck. He would have lost. So, I mean, he didn't take Brandon Ruiz down one time. So he basically was in great shape, and I give him credit for that. He's got heart and he's got good conditioning. And I mean, my daughter can choke me out if she's better shape. I mean, I get tired. Doesn't mean you're a great grappler. It just means you got good conditioning.
It's true. Yeah. So, I mean, we can get into that a little bit. I mean, that was a match I really wanted. And I mean, I've kind of moved past it and shit like that. Like I got nothing bad to say about the guy. He's doing his MMA shit. It's just
the kid's poison.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not worth getting my panties in a bunch over again. Like, he went in there and as much as I love everybody in that tournament, they were all super heavyweights and they were all almost 40 years old. They're past the prime, and he just out-conditioned everyone. You get somebody in there who's in their mid-20s, not out of shape, much bigger than you, and actually knows how to submit people as well as wrestle. It gets a little different. But
absolutely,
what do you think going forward will bring the new blood into catch, like you're talking about?
Honestly, doing the things that you're doing, I'm doing, that Jake's doing is the best thing we can do, man. But we have to promote the art. It's different. You have a brick and mortar gym.
Yep.
So your job first is to sell yourself, because if people don't like you, they don't care what you're teaching. I'm in a little more luxurious position where you don't have to like me. You can just watch my videos. You know what I mean? You either like them or you don't, and it's been successful so far. And I know I'm coming off crying as a jerk. I'm really not. I'm just being honest. I really do. We do a lot of free stuff and try to help people out. We actually are doing a Christian ministry right now in Chile.
Oh, that's
right
cool.
now. Yeah, we have a preacher down there who was raised in hook wrestling from his father, who's doing a thing in the community. So we do a lot of give back stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear me with my anger, it's just the idiots from the past,
Yeah.
But as far as moving forward, I think really what we're doing and putting it out there for the masses, putting quality, legitimate catch wrestling technique out there, and just opening their eyes to it and letting them see the beauty of it is the best thing we can do. The sports, the biggest thing that's holding us back right now, and not in a bad way, because I like watching the ADCCs, but if you really look at it with the no points in the first few minutes, it's catch wrestling with no pins.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing differently?
Not much.
Not much. I mean, you could call it lucha libre because of some guard work, I guess, whatever. But if there's no pins, why wouldn't I use my leg in that position? Because catch wrestling means what? By any means available. It's an open-ended book. I can do whatever the hell I want. Once you take out the pins, I can do more of whatever the hell I want.
Yeah.
I
think it's something people don't really talk about. It's in the name, catch as catch can, by any means necessary.
Any means available. It doesn't mean pin. It doesn't mean submission. I'm going to do whatever it takes, any position, any way. Now, you take out the pin, you just opened up a whole new book of positions that I can use, and it's open. And that comes from Steve Scott. I don't know if you know Steve Scott. He actually said that he was a Sambo champion, and he preferred the leg locks from catch over Sambo. Mm-hmm. And he would say they're both open-ended. They're open-ended. Billy would say catch is not an art. Anything could be, it's not a style. It's a set of concepts. Mm-hmm. And a set of concepts can be used anywhere, right? Yeah. And it can definitely be an art, because anything can be art. Anything be art. The way I chuck this thing in the trash can from 10 feet away, that could be a piece of art if I hit it just right with a J hook. You get what I'm saying? Anything can be art.
Yeah.
But I think if we keep doing what we're doing great. I mean, especially right now with everybody at home, it's really easy to market. I'm not trying to. I know it's tough for the guys that have the brick and mortar gyms. I really, my heart aches for you guys, and I hope that your gyms are okay, and hopefully some type of relief comes through. I don't know what's going to happen with this Pelosi psycho, but we'll see. She keeps getting in the way of everything. So there's my political relief right there. I think there are some good people trying to help and trying to keep the gyms alive and keep it going. And you guys out there that are quitting your gym memberships, stop, because you ain't going to have a gym to go to. I don't know what you think you're going to do. Okay. You're killing your family when you do that stuff. It's just stupid. I mean, if you don't have money coming in, that's different. But if you have funds coming in, a lot of people are still working. A lot of people have money coming in, and they're saying, oh, well, I can't train. You ain't going to have a place to go train when this is over. So be smart, But if we keep doing what we're doing, a lot of it's giving back right now, too. I'm trying to put out free DVDs and give people stuff, not to get a pat on the back, but just to give, we've been around since 2011, and we've sold tens of thousands of DVDs. We've done hundreds of seminars, and people have been kind enough to grace us with their presence and time on the mats. And that means a lot to me. So the least we can do is give back a little bit like that and continue to show the beauty of catch wrestling. And I think it's the best way to win people over. It's winning hearts and minds, right? You show them the beauty of it. Show them what it's really about. Don't come out and say that, oh, my catch wrestling is better than your jiu-jitsu. I hate that crap. Snake Pit USA is not about your jiu-jitsu sucks. I'm a second-degree BJJ black belt. Why would I say that? I'd have to be a moron. Okay, so jiu-jitsu works. It's great. It's proven. There's nothing wrong with it. I love jiu-jitsu. We are part of the grappling brotherhood. It's that simple. We're not haters. All these catch groups are like, oh, I hate jiu-jitsu. You probably don't even roll if you're saying that. But we are a part of a community that has to grow together. We really are.
Can't let the fans do the talking. So what
they're going to come and go, brother. And you and I are going to be sitting here in 20 years, Lord willing, if we're healthy.
Yep, 100%.
We're going to have new fans, and that's not a knock on the fans, but
with even more people watching, man, it's about sticking around and giving back, like you're saying. But one thing I wanted to talk to you about before I let you go is something that I really see that makes a difference in catch and jiu-jitsu is the fact that catch has a very hardcore conditioning aspect of it. Like everybody talks about the Gotch Bible, the Hindu squats, Hindu push-ups, all that shit. Jake's got his mace bell and all that stuff. Yeah. So obviously I've had people on the comment section saying you're basically fucking Thanos looking at you. So tell me a little bit about your conditioning routine, especially now that we're all in quarantine. Give a quick rundown for everybody, shit they can do from home.
I'll tell you what. I'll show you guys what I work with right now. I'm here at the house, so I'll show you what. So right before this whole thing broke out, took out a little bit of money, and because first of all, I hate going to gyms.
Yeah.
Because when I lift really heavy, everybody stops what they're doing, and it's really annoying. So I bought 900 pounds of weights, and I bought this Power Tech thing here. You see this?
Oh yeah.
And this thing does. I use this only for calf raises, because for real squats is pure trash. But I'll hook up 500 to 600 pounds of squats, and obviously it's not the same as a Olympic bar, but I can get the weight where I need it to see the calf raises and get any exercise I need over here with all the different apparatuses, all the weights over there, all the weights over here. But over there, you got to have that too, right?
Yep.
So that's what I've been doing. So my basic routine is simple. I try to steer away from too much bodybuilding type stuff, make it functional, but you're not going to see me doing Pilates or yoga bands either.
Yeah.
I can't do power cleans like I used to. I can't do heavy deadlifts because of my back problems and things like that. But that machine does help me get into certain positions where I'm still able to move some weight, maintain some type of strength, functional strength. Nutrition's really everything, though, especially for me with severe arthritis and things like that. I suck at it. You'd have to ask my wife about what she puts in my shakes. But she tries, and a lot of prescription medications. I've gotten off a lot, and that helps me out a lot. But for basic training, remember Dorian Yates?
Yes.
Okay. So he had that high intensity interval training.
Yep.
So I try to use something in conjunction with that and kind of blend it with a West Side barbell mentality.
Nice.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
That's probably
when I first got into weightlifting, Dorian Yates was someone that I was really paying a lot of attention to. So yeah, that hits right at home with me.
He had that rugged, tough physique where you could easily mistake him as like a world's strongest man competitor, not just a bodybuilder. Nothing against bodybuilders. If that's your thing, it's your thing. But I'm not looking to look like that, because we all know those guys get tired on the mats first. Yeah, right? Too 100%. Much muscle mass, too much oxygen, you get tired. But I still want that functional strength, because I'm not a huge heavyweight. And plus my injuries, I need that.
That's fucking hilarious, because everybody in the comment section is saying you look like my big fucking brother. Everyone's like, oh, you look at this fucking giant. You're saying you're not a big heavyweight. Dude, you're 200 pounds. I'm like 225.
Dude, it's only 25 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm trying to actually get down to 240, because, I had during that 2018 championship, I was in the hospital for a week and a half with a heart problem. And so I've tried to back off, and that's on top of all the other stupid crap. Both my triceps are torn, both my knees need to be replaced, my left hip needs to be replaced, the radial that verticalopathy 3 places in my spine, other herniated discs. The list goes on and on, blah blah blah. Nobody cares, and I don't cry about it. So you just got to keep moving, man. And the biggest thing, honestly, is showing up. Same as your jiu-jitsu. I know we can't go to gyms right now, so those bodyweight exercises, there's nothing wrong with them right now. It might even be great for your body. A lot of students are writing me and saying, I feel the best I've ever felt, and all I'm doing is calisthenics. And I say, well, then don't change it. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. This is a great time to take a break, but keep watching the videos. Keep drilling what you can drill. Even if it's shadow drilling, I don't give a crap. Yeah. Absolutely. Keep your mind on point. And videos do help. I watch other people's videos sometimes. Mm-hmm. I try to watch what I can. Now, I may or may not like it, but it's worth watching. Sometimes a crap technique can give me a great idea. I've had brand new students do a private lesson with, and they do something horrible, and I'm like, do that again. You know what I mean? It's trash, but there's something in their transition that's giving me an idea. Yep. You know 100%. What I mean? Yeah. So, as far as fitness goes, the wife tries to drag me out for a walk once a day, and it usually doesn't work. But
I tries to do the same too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I'm not alone.
Yeah, yeah.
So we try to do that. We just bought a puppy before this crap, and he keeps me busy. My 2 step-kids are here. It sucks I can't come to Florida right now. We have an apartment down there. I can't even come down right now because of all this stuff with the Florida lockdown. Now everybody's locked down. Yep. So
cool.
I don't know, man. Just try to stay. Honestly, just staying busy, I think, is the secret right now, and eating healthy. So everybody wants to eat all the junk, because if you go in and eat right, that's the only thing there's plenty left of. All the toilet paper's gone, but there's 10 gallons of ice cream on every shelf. And it's true. Yeah, I've gotten some of that ice cream.
Yeah, oh, me too, dude. I'm right there with you. But we're slowly trying to transition back to healthy living lifestyle. But I think that was a good place to stop. Before I let you go, where can people find you, find your products, all that fun stuff?
Check out snakepitusa.com. We try to post all the upcoming events on there. Now, obviously, they're pending with the Chinese virus. Yeah. So with that going on, if the gym is open, we're coming. I promise you, we will be there. We're not going to punk out until the last second on these seminars. and the airlines will refund your tickets right now. So don't be scared to register. I just got mine refunded to go to Florida to see my daughter to come down near you.
Yep.
I couldn't go. Got refunded. They have to right now. So don't be scared to register for these seminars. Get out. Jake and I got a big one coming up in Texas. That's going to be huge. 2 days, a mix of scientific wrestling and Snake Pit USA together.
Those are always great camps. I think it was a favorite one. I mean, obviously the one in Boston we did was awesome, but that one in New Jersey, just getting all the different styles and different mindsets in there. So I'm hopeful that when all this is over, we can do some more of that kind of stuff.
Let's do it again. I'm up for it. I'm always up for it, man.
I'm always up for it too. So when this shit's over, we'll get a big camp going with you, me, Kenny, and Jake again. Maybe we get some Wade Shallows in there and a few other guys.
All right, we'll call it Monsters of Catch Volume 2.
Yes, exactly. All right, Joel, I appreciate you coming on here, man. I'm going to let you go.
I appreciate you.
Close this down. Good seeing you, brother. Stay safe, all right?
You too, man. Take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.
You too, man. All right, that was Joel Bane. I appreciate you guys listening. I'm going to be back here in about 15 minutes with Matt Kaplan. We're going to break down the rest of his Winner Chicken Dinner videos. We're going to be going around 12:30. Fucking love Joel. So go show him some love, Snake Pit USA, as well as follow him on Instagram and all that fun shit. Again, if you want to support me, check out my sponsors. My company's Wicked Warrior Coffee. Sorry, that's up here. NogiNation.com. That's where it's a joint site. You can get your coffee, you can get your rash guards, you can get your shirt from there. CBDUme.com/StarLord. Go ahead, get some CBD, and that helps me out as well. And then once again, big shout out to Schismatic Industries for sending me the gear. Can't wait to put this shit on. They're doing pre-orders on their gis and Nogi Nation gear and stuff like that. So go ahead and get that shit as well. I'll be back here in about 15 minutes with Matt Kaplan. Appreciate you guys watching.